So she started crying and all. So I said, "Ki what happened?" So then she said कि उन्होंने उसका गर्दन काट दिया and he is in some different room में रखा हुआ है. Did not let anybody go out. He was only letting out one guy to get food and fetch food for everybody there.
Just for
Yeah.
that one girl, kid. Must have been a kid, teenager, late teen. उसी को demand कर रहे थे. And they kept the whole family
hostage kind of. हमारी
hostage.
big tradition होता था. Everybody used to say before going, like even if we greet each other, so like oh hi hello, and then and it used to be like hi happy hunting. So it used to be even we used to greet each other. Chalo. So I still remember like last when he came to my room and we were talking and then he left. So we have some like कुछ आपस में हम we were joke मतलब we were कुछ मजाक कर रहे थे तो मैं उसके साथ मैंने put a joke on him like कि चल ऐसे करके. So I remember that was the last time I saw him laughing and then I heard that news, man. This MLA, he was traveling to Nepal via Delhi, and along with him there were two cutters of KYKL, like SS Major and one more. So they were arrested by Delhi police in Delhi airport. So while they were flying, so later on when they were arrested, so there were CDs and pen drives which were recovered from them, and both of all the CDs and pen drive they were containing the like all the details of security establishment and everything. So this case is in live mine case. Achoba was on duty there, so he was trying to stop them not to move ahead, just go back. So what they did is they fired on his vehicle, Deputy SP's vehicle. They fired. So police, because police was overpowered by them. So then they got Achoba. Achoba was there. This Robin Mamang, who is a Arembai militant, I would say. He thrashed this Deputy SP in front of everyone. And thrashed, I would say, not once. He thrashed him badly, so badly that Achoba was admitted in one of the hospitals there. I'm forgetting the name of the hospital. And even there is a photograph of Manipur CM visiting Achoba in the hospital in which he's lying. They stopped that vehicle. They burned that vehicle with a mother and a kid inside that vehicle. Which in IM, UNLF, VBIGs, I would say PLA. They all are supported and helped by China and also backed by ISI. So there is nothing hidden in it. There is nothing hidden. He was the one who snatched those family members from CRPF. A जवान इंडियन आर्मी मतलब जवान है वो उसका फादर था उसकी मदर थी. They snatched him from those CRPF guys and then he took them. और उसके बाद मैम 3 दिन बाद एक बॉडी कहीं पे मिली, एक बॉडी कहीं पे मिली. All were killed by these Arembai guys. And so sadly ma'am, we are in such a state right now where we can't even save one of our own like family members who was there.
Thank you so much, Major Digvijay, for accepting this invitation. And I know it's early in the morning, wherever you're sitting. And thank you so much for accepting. I was really looking forward to, having this conversation with you.
It's a pleasure, ma'am.
Welcome to the news.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you.
I went about asking our audience, what is it that they would like to know about you?
Yes,
one of the first questions, in fact, it was the most often repeated question, that what is it that really motivated you to join ParaSF? I mean, even before I get there, from what I know, you're a civil engineer.
Yes, ma'am.
From civil engineer, how did you end up becoming a special forces commando?
I am from a place called Shekhawat in Uttarakhand. So Uttarakhand, like it has got a Fauji culture. Like since starting of when we were born there, so we have grown up with all the Faujis around from Garhwal Regiment, from Kumaon Scouts and all. Like every home, like if there are 12 homes on my way, so like 10 of them they are in army, so they are serving. Some are retired. So like बचपन से ही मैम एक काइंड ऑफ एक वो था कि लाइक इफ कुछ बनना है तो फौजी बनना है. जस्ट मतलब looking at their like the way they used to dress up, the way the things they used to speak, like when they are deployed in J&K, when they're deployed in Northeast, and those thing about terrorists and those things about chasing them. And then these all things used to fascinate us a lot. And obviously, ma'am, for country, like there was, मतलब हमें, we used to get goosebumps during like 26, like 26 January, 15 August when he used to be in school, and then when those songs used to be played, and that was the, I think, only thing in my childhood I used to get goosebumps from those songs, and hearing about the stories and those movies, war movies like Border tha, like I think that was the first movie I would have like got emotional and thought about ki, oh, this is how it is, and we have to, matlab, I personally wanted to join army because of all those, like there are many things which resulted in this one conclusion that yes, I would one day want to go to like army and serve, and wahi tha ki, like to eliminate these all terrorists and people who are harming us, Fauji's and civilians also, like in J&K and Northeast and where. So I think that was the biggest motivation for me to join, particularly Fauj. Nothing else. Like initially childhood days, so I don't think I was looking for कि मुझे. I was not even knowing कि मुझे, like there is a officer thing, there is a Jawan thing. I was like, I just want to go to army, whatever way, and I just want to pick a weapon, go kill them, and just come back. So that was one thing I don't know. Matlab, that was fascinating for me. And slowly, yeah, like when we reached at 11 and 12th standard, so then subsequently we gave our entrance exams. So I entered army through a 10+2 entry scheme, which is like if you have more than 80% in your 12th in PCM, so you directly go for a SSB interview. So they make a merit out of it, and then they call you for an interview. So I went for a technical interest, entry scheme. So then my interview was there in Allahabad. I made it, and then joined the forces. And there was a like 1 year of BMT in IMA Dehradun, basic military training, and then 4 years of BTech in College of Military Engineering, Pune. So I did my 1 year of BMT from IMA, and then did my 4 years of civil engineering from CME Pune. And after that, got commissioned in 2013 from again for last passing out for a month prior passing out. We go to IMA and then we get ranks in IMA from there. So that's how
Wow.
I transitioned from a civilian to like getting inside, getting into army. So that was a part of it.
Before I go to jump to the next question about how you landed your para badge, SF badge, Balidan badge,
Yeah.
I would like to have that one childhood memory. आपने एक तो border बताया,
हाँ जी,
which I agree. Border होगा, लक्ष्य होगा.
yes,
वो
ma'am.
दो movies बहुत moving
Yes,
थी.
they do
I
affect
believe
us
उस
a
चीज
lot.
में.
Like everyone, like they do have a good effect on like the youth who want to join army and all. So definitely it was part of my journey also. Yeah.
Any other childhood memory? Anyone telling any particular incident from J&K, from Northeast, or कुछ भी जो आपके ज़हन में रह गया हो?
Yeah, like हमारे यहाँ पे like even if you now see in Garhwal, like if you say casualties in J&K, if you see casualties in Northeast, so there are a lot of people who get martyred in during these or killed in action during these terror operations and all. So they used to be in our newspaper, like every, I would say not regularly, but yeah, in a week or month, there used to be some news about some Fauji getting killed in action in J&K, getting killed in action in somewhere else. So I think that was a time when, like I was going to school once. I attended not attended, but we were just crossing by, and then this funeral was going on. So then there was a photograph, and those were few things. I think I cannot forget. Like for me, it was a big thing because I used to see these Faujis as a like कि हाँ मुझे ये बनना है, but then I saw his funeral. Then for me it was quite a moment where I thought definitely I should one day join forces and definitely get I won't say badla, but yes, I want to be in their place and fill in their shoes and do the same thing which they have been doing selflessly for like the country, and they have left all their family and everyone behind, and then they are no more now. So yeah, I thought it becomes my responsibility also, and I want to get into this job. Though I know this is not an easy job, but yes, that's how it was. Like,
And then you took a tougher profession of becoming a commando. How did that happen? Why 21 SF, and how did you get your Balidan badge?
ma'am, uh, I was an engineer. Like we did engineering in CME, but we all opted for like I wanted to opt for SF from academy itself. So did opt for SF during our training days, ma'am. Through our 4 years and 5 years. So we had a lot of our DSS. Like DSS is apna directing staff in IM our instructors. So I had one of the instructors from 21 Para SF, Colonel TP Singh right now, and then Colonel Rathi, and of course Brigadier Shekhawat. So he used to come for like lecture, and we used to see a lot of his videos. So like in my childhood, it was still now it was Brigadier Shekhawat, that like Colonel Shekhawat, and then now Brigadier
Mm.
Shekhawat. So I think that was one, like I remember during my training days, I saw his Loktak video, and him speaking in some interview, and like the difference it made in my personal opinion, like because I have seen a lot of my like lot of instructors in IMA, lot of officers of different arms, but the because I have not met him personally till day. I have not met him personally, though he's my unit officer. So, but I have not met him personally. But that's how people are. That's how people make difference in somebody's life. Like just by, it can be anything. It can be there some maybe one liner, or it may be some video, some interview. It makes a lot of difference because we all derive our motivation from a lot of different things, like electronic media, be it physical interaction, be it a lot of things. So yeah, it made a big effect in my life. Like I thought I should go for 21. I should one day be operating like him, like in the boats in the Loktak Lake, and like operate. So that was quite a fascinating thing for me, uh, looking at him speaking about the operation and all when I was in academy. So that's how thing kept building up. Like, yeah, I want to go to SF and then 21. So that's how I landed up there in the probation afterwards.
I hope you do know that Brigadier Shekhawat speaks really highly of you.
The yeah, yes, ma'am. I haven't. That's what the thing is, ma'am. I haven't met him, but yes, like similarly, we are interacting. So I had interaction with Major Gaurav Arya once he was in J&K. So that was the time we spoke to Colonel Shekhawat on like a phone. Like he called Colonel Shekhawat, and then I was also there. I think that was the first time, or no, second time I spoke to Colonel Shekhawat. So yeah, so that's how things make a difference in your life. In my life, it personally did. And in like many, I see many people, like in my unit also, I know a lot of people who came in 21 because of Brigadier Shekhawat, and there are a lot of of us, like unit, everything about unit, little is a part of us.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Another one of the audience question is, tell me one of your high moments and low moments as a commando. बहुत बुरा experience और बहुत अच्छा experience.
So मैम, आई थिंक माय सबसे जो मेरा सबसे मैम मेमोरेबल एक्सपीरियंस रहा होगा कि व्हेन फर्स्ट टाइम आई वाज वेरी श्योर कि militants were inside some house, like we generally used to get a lot of inputs, like because I think I joined army to see those people and to neutralize them, like to search for them, to hunt for them. Like हमारी यूनिट में एक ट्रेडिशन होता था, everybody used to say before going, like even if we greet each other, so like, oh hi hello, and then and it used to be like hi, happy hunting. So it used to be a, even we used to greet each other, chalo, if you're going for an operation, so then it used to be like happy hunting. So that hunting thing, that thing कि हाँ मतलब we have to go in operation quietly, uh, sit somewhere, observe moment, या get neutralized. So एक वो जो मतलब it used to be, I think it was the most dangerous thing also, and for us it used to be most exciting thing also. कि like to chase people like this, to chase these militants, or you may say terrorists in J&K, militants in Northeast. So to chase them used to be a big thing. Like I think हम लोग जब CI में होते हैं, like in counter insurgency areas, so I think that's the only reason we are deployed there, and that's the only thought we have 24 hours in our mind ki we have to get those guys, we have to keep catching them. So first time in J&K, there was a FT in J&K. So foreign terrorist of Lashkar, LET terrorist, he was there. So he was a Pakistani guy. So we have been looking around for him for almost a month or two when I got posted in J&K, and within a month, we got him in one of the operations, and that was also, I think, was then that day it was a Holi, so luckily we got him on the same day. So our Holi was basically there.
Which was that operation? Not sure what exactly happened there.
So,
Jammu and
ma'am,
Kashmir.
Haji, it was basically there is a place called Hajin in Bandipura district of J&K. So basically, Hajin has got its own relevance. Like the first local movement, like the local rebellion against the terrorists of the Pakistani sponsored terrorists started from Hajin, where it was the first time where the locals picked up weapons against the terrorists. So
Oh,
Hajin is a place from where the Ikhwan, the famous Ikhwan movement started. The Kuka Pare, the Pare family. Basically, he was the leader of the Ikhwan movement, and they were the first one to, being a Kashmiri, they fought against the terrorists, Pakistan-sponsored terrorists, and it started from the Hajin. So Hajin always has been an ego issue for the LET, for the Jaish, everybody. So that's how that was the thing. Something like that was the end of. I would say that was the start for the end of militancy also, because they were quite effective. These Ikhwans were quite effective in utilizing a lot of militants, Pakistani sponsored militants. If you see, they used to go in their own columns. They used to fight the militants, terrorists, who used to come from Pakistan, and they used to fight. And they were very much aware of the methodology, how these Pakistani supported militants operate and all. So they have been very wonderfully raised by like the local movement and all, helped by locals and government also. So they were very effective in their way of doing. So similarly, ma'am, that particular area was like control. I wouldn't say control, but that particular area, LET was quite active when I was there. So मुझे गए हुए like hardly a month I have joined that location, and I was in that particular area. So every second day, third day, there used to be a firefight with these guys. So this particular incident I remember is a day of a Holi, ma'am. उस दिन होली थी, तो we were just coming back. Already that night we had a
Holy
one.
seems to not leave you.
So one that particular day, ma'am, already the previous night we were
Sorry,
outside.
I'm so sorry to disturb you. I meant Holi
हाँ
is lucky for you.
हाँ जी, नहीं नहीं मैम, I would say मतलब lucky that was the day, as you said, it was my one of my best days also, I would say. So it was a Holi, ma'am, though I missed the Holi that day, but हम लोग उससे पहले ही रात को we were doing a search operation somewhere. So at night, 1 or 2 o'clock, we were coming back. उसके बाद morning में we were coming back and going back to CUB, and we were all excited today. हम लोग होली खेलेंगे CUB में जाके, like we'll go back and we'll have a soul, we'll celebrate, and colors वलर सब कुछ लेके आ गए थे. Then same time they जब जा रहे थे, तो there was a input which came, and it was like very generic thing कि यार जाके देख लो यार, if you guys are walking through that place, just search that area and there might be something suspected. So we said, okay, we'll do it and whatnot. मतलब ऐसे करके we decided, and ठीक है, we are going and we'll do this thing and then go back to our places subsequently. The moment we surrounded that particular house, we got to know like कि दो घर थे मैम, like 3-story buildings, and 2 houses were there. So we asked the shopkeeper outside कितने लोग हैं घर में. He said कि around 20 people, 20 people live in both houses, big houses. He was a apple orchard owner, like a very big man. So हमने जैसे ही we entered the gate, we were shouting कि please बाहर आओ, come outside. In local language also shouted and come outside, but nobody came. But after 10 minutes, what happened, ma'am? Like four of the girls and I remember 2 boys. So they came with their hands in the air, and ऐसे करते हुए they came to us. And as they approached us, they started crying, the two of the girls. So then when we spoke to them, we said, ki, okay, what happened? Are you fine or not? But then she said, ki, these militants, they have kidnapped my father and my younger brother. So we said, ki, how old are they? His father is like this, and the brother is like 11 years old. So we spoke to her, we made her comfortable, we made her drink water and all. Then she said, Ki these militants have been staying in our house for almost a month now. And what was basically, they wanted a physical relationship with a girl who was the owner of, like the house owner's daughter. So what they did, he
And she
used
was
to,
young.
yeah, she was
Okay.
quite young. She was quite young. So what he did, like the father did not want them to come closer to her daughter. So what he did is, after a few days, he sent his daughter to somewhere else. and he did not tell them. So again, they came to her house for the same. They were exploiting, basically. They were exploiting her. So again, they came to her house, and then that time she was not there. So he told her father, "If you're not calling her back, I'll not leave you. You send anybody." But his father was very adamant. He obviously he would have gone through a lot, hearing a daughter and whatnot, whatever has happened. So he told, "I'll not let you come near my daughter." And then he said, "Okay, fine, we'll stay here till the time we don't get her and all." So and that during that time, his daughter was somewhere else. So for almost a month, he kidnapped this complete family. So he did not let anybody go out. He was only letting out one guy to get food and fetch food for
Oh my
everybody
God.
there.
Just for
Yeah,
that one girl, kid. Must have been a kid, teenager, late teen. उसी को demand कर रहे थे. And they kept the whole family
yeah,
uh,
hostage kind of thing.
hostage.
Hostage. So then we realized, then she told ki there are two militants, both of them are Pakistani. She very well recognized because he was already there for 2 months, sorry, a month. And he used to very frequently visit their house just to exploit that girl. And she was a quite young girl. Mother, it was very unfortunate. We also have, when we came to know about these things, it was for us also, it was something we never expected. But we have heard about it, but we never heard from somebody so close. So then we came to know these two guys are there. They have kidnapped his father and son. So then we called more like people there. Okay, this is confirmed now. He's staying in this house, and that's how we have to get him out whatsoever. But like other places where only militants are there inside of, in this case, there was a father and a kid, both of them. So then we were tasked at that particular time that we have to rescue both of them. So we said, okay, fine, we'll try our best, and whatever way we'll. So there was a deliberation which went for almost an hour or so, and the same day there was one more operation going in Sopor with another para unit, in which two of the one officer and one Jawan has got gunshot wound. Like same day this operation, parallelly there was one more operation going on somewhere. So this thing happened. So just a funny वो कि दिवाली, obviously मैम, it was a holy, so people were calling, तो phone आ रहे थे सुबह से. तो my सासू माँ called me. She said कि तो I said कि hello. तो she said कि बेटा happy Holi and all. So I said happy Holi I and all. जैसे ही मैंने happy Holi I बोला होगा तो वहाँ से कोई फायरिंग शुरू हो गई थी, टक टक टक. एंड शी गॉट वरिड कि what is this. तो I said कि nothing, just ऐसे ही कुछ चल रहा है यहाँ पे, फायरिंग प्रैक्टिस कर रहे हैं हम लोग. नो नो नो, कुछ तो है, आज तो होली है, व्हाट आर यू डूइंग, मतलब ऐसे. तो उसके बाद ऑब्वियसली वंस दैट वो कॉल कटा, जैसे मैंने बोला ठीक है मैं करता हूँ, आपको कॉल करता हूँ अभी बाद में. तो देन अगेन एवरीबडी स्टार्टेड फ्रॉम माय होम कॉलिंग की क्या है क्या है. देन आई जस्ट ड्रॉप्ड अ मैसेज, इट्स ओके, एवरीथिंग इज फाइन, ऐसे करके. तो जब ये हुआ था मैम, वी वर टोल्ड टू गेट इनसाइड. तो वी वेंट इनसाइड, वी मेड अ स्मॉल टीम ऑफ आवर्स. वी सेड कि ओके फाइन, वील गो इनसाइड, गेट दोस गाइज आउट फ्रॉम द हाउस. So we made a stick. There were two more officers with us, and हम लोग गए, मैम अंदर गए. We cleared the rooms, like the initially the ground floor, then we entered the first floor, and we were expecting कि every moment was like कि अभी होगा, तब होगा, we'll be somewhere here, he'll be somewhere there. So slowly, but then because of our movement and because of while we were entering, we were throwing grenades and all. So he obviously came to know कि there is something going on. But we were confusing him with a lot of sounds also, like a lot of firing was going on from outside. Like हम लोग जिस घर में घुस रहे थे तो साइड से people were firing on the other windows, and so that we were able to channelize them कि एक particular area में जाके then we'll. So we cleared the ground floor, then we went to the first floor. They were not there, so we were very sure now they're in the top floor. So the moment we entered top floor, जैसे ही हम लोग मैम top floor में enter कर रहे थे तो immediately he fired few rounds, like he fired a burst towards us. So जैसे ही उसने he fired a burst round on us, so we also retaliated. We also fired few rounds. तो उस chaos में क्या हुआ मैम, the father, because they could not get grip of those father and kid, so that father immediately jumped towards us. So but हमें तो ऐसे लगा था कि he might be a militant or he might be something else. और तो जैसे ही फादर ने ऐसे बोला तो वी कुड सी फ्रॉम हिज डिमेनर ऑल्सो कि अरे ये तो ही इज अ सिविलियन. सो वी गॉट हिम टुवर्ड्स द साइड एंड उसको उनको वहां से बाहर निकाल दिया था. So that time immediately in the first
That
first
must have been tough, right? कि मतलब
yeah,
कोई निकल रहा है, आपको पता नहीं है कि सिविलियन है, टेररिस्ट है.
yeah. Because he was not carrying weapon. First of all, he was just एक बनियान थी, एक ऐसा था, तो he just jumped, मतलब ऐसे जंप करके आया, and then फायरिंग भी चल रही थी, तो then when we saw, everybody thought कि he's a militant, but still did not do anything and could save him. उसको मतलब he could without any खरोच और वो we could just evacuate him out of it, and we just send him बाहर भेज देते थे उसको. Then there was a kid only who was with them, and we wanted to get that kid also out. So after that, for almost 1 hour or so, we were just waiting because we were not very sure. Father told, kid is in some other room. He has उनको उसको बांध रखा है. They are in some other room, so they might use some tactics कि ऐसे करके. तो we said okay fine, we'll take our time, and क्योंकि हमारे पास time का तो ऐसा कुछ constraint नहीं था. तो what happened, we वहीं से हम लोग उनसे बात करनी शुरू कर दी थी कि वी आर टेलिंग देम प्लीज लीव द किड, वी वोंट किल यू ऑल्सो, जस्ट सरेंडर, वी लीव द किड, वी डोंट वांट you also to be killed, and just leave the kid. And we were trying all the ways and means. So in the meantime, we called that mother also, the kid's mother. We called her inside. We said कि आप भी बात करो. And they, हम जब वो lady बात कर रही थी, lady said कि she was very obviously emotional. His son was inside, and she said कि I'll go inside. I'll try to convince you. Please don't be inside. आप लोग अंदर मत आओ, मैं जाऊंगी, मैं खुद लेके आऊंगी. She was so brave after seeing all this. So we said, okay, fine. If you want to go, आप जाइए अंदर. If you and they won't do anything, ऐसा नहीं guarantee नहीं दे सकते. But then we can't take chance with a kid. तो शी सेड कि नो आई विल गो, एंड शी वो बाहर से ही चिल्लाते चिल्लाते बाहर बोल रही थी कि मैं उसकी माँ हूँ, मेरे को बस एक बार बेटे को मिलने दो, एंड ऑल दोज थिंग्स शी वाज शाउटिंग. एंड हम भी माइक से बोल रहे थे वहाँ से कि माँ अंदर आ रही है, एंड जस्ट लेट हर मीट योर मीट, जस्ट लेट हर मीट द किड, एंड जस्ट शी वांट टू सी हर. तो शी वेंट
और
इनसाइड.
वो किड कितने साल का था
11
बच्चा?
years old, 11 years. So I correctly remember 11 years or some 8 years, ऐसे 8 or 11 years का था बच्चा. तो उसके बाद शी वेंट इनसाइड, एंड शी वेंट इनसाइड, एंड शी उनको तो शायद शी वाज नॉट fearing also. She went inside, and उनको she saw a blood there, like blood coming out, and then she saw something from inside, and she said कि she started, मतलब नीचे आई तो she started crying and all. So I said कि what happened? तो then she said कि उन्होंने उसका गर्दन काट दिया, and he is in some different room में रखा हुआ है. So that was something very shocking for us. Ki we didn't expect, first of all, ki if they are letting her come, so they would have killed this kid by that time, because they were frustrated since his father went out. They thought कि अभी we don't have any way out. तो वो उसने ego issue बना लिया था कि because of you we are getting killed and all. So he had slit his throat, and he was lying on the blood. क्योंकि हम लोग भी गए तो then we could see already. So then तो there was no one alive. There were only two militants only. Then we did the thing and got just them neutralized, and later on just came out. And but that was very unfortunate also that we couldn't save that kid. Had that kid come out safely, and then we would have neutralized those two Pakistani, those elite terrorists. So that would have been a very good thing for us. But unfortunately, we could not. We lost that kid in that incident, and I won't say it was a successful operation, but yeah, I wish that could have been alive. That kid would have been alive, and he would not. He should not have gone through a lot what he went through that day. So,
But
yeah.
it also proves that what Pakistan Army keeps claiming, that they are here to protect the Kashmiris, and they are not even sparing small kids.
They have been, see, ma'am, this father was vocal. This father was vocal. He at least took a stand. Like he won't let his daughter be exploited by these FTs, like these Pakistani terrorists who say themselves कि we are here for a war or something, but they are not there. They are only there for a fun, for money, for their own vested agendas. So he was a father who could take that instance. He would have been stronger. He would have thought कि मतलब he would have seen the daughter cry, he would have seen her go through a lot of things, whatever they were doing. So that's how he took such a bold decision, and that's how we could get him. Otherwise, there are so many families, so many remote areas, whatnot they are asking for, whatnot they are doing, and we can't. they can't say anything also if they don't have any approach or access to any agencies or any. So they are also bound. They are also, मतलब हम कई बार बोलते हैं people have hatred toward locals की they are supporting them. It is not always they are supporting them. It is because, like I said, ma'am, like in Manipur it is happening. If you are roaming around with weapon, so we people as a civilian, they will have to listen to them. They will have to listen to what they are saying, what they are doing. So it's somewhere it is very like helpless situation, but somehow someday for a correct course of action, we have to take a action like his father did. So people have to take a action. Like what is right has to be done. So that's how things will fall in the right place.
My
Yeah.
God, I'm so glad you shared these incidents. That this is shocking, really. I mean, I really thought बच्चे को छोड़ दिया होगा, but
Yes.
गर्दन काटना is definitely revengeful also, isn't it?
Yeah, it was more of a revenge and more of a, I think what I could see a ego thing कि अब तो हम मर ही रहे हैं तो इसको we'll show their family that he's also killed now. So it was more of that. It was not even like what would that kid, मतलब वो क्या damage करता उनका? He would have let them fight. अगर लड़ाई करो यार. Come fight with us. Why to keep a kid or why to keep a father there? So it was useless thing. It was a useless thing, and that's how they are. That's how they are doing, and they have been doing since ages. So yeah, it was the most high moment, like getting to know हाँ एक militant है, and now this is the place we have to neutralize him, and that was I think सबसे high moment in my life. I think I would say कि first time getting into a live firefight. So that was one thing I always aspired as a, मैं बोलूँगा childhood dream, maybe when जब मुझे फौज, मतलब I didn't know anything about फौज की हाँ I have to have one day a AK in my hand and I have to get these guys down. So I think that was the day I thought कि हाँ I've been waiting for this for almost like 10, 12, 13 years now, and this is the day when I have a opportunity to get them down, knock them off. So yeah, that was like I think best, I would say that's what I wanted, and that's what I got an opportunity to see that day.
Any moment that you think was really low, which hit you hard while serving as a commando?
Ma'am, I would say voting for me personally, I was though not part of it. But Gautam, he was my buddy when उससे पहले ही I went for a joint exercise somewhere. So he was my buddy. He was very close to my home also, like 40 minutes from my home he used to live, and we had a lot of interaction. So once I heard about him, like the things went turned in voting, and we lost him that day. So I think till today, I feel a lot about him. I feel a lot about other people. I would say civilians also, and my like unit boys also who got. So we personally feel for them. We have like it should not have been gone that way, but the way it turned out. So yeah. So I
This
think
is
that,
the Mon incident where in
yes,
Nagaland, right?
yes, ma'am, in Nagaland. Yeah.
And Gautam was very young. He was 22.
Yes, ma'am. He was a paratrooper. So yeah, that's how I remember him. Like being the youngest one, being with me, and then he was from Garhwal only. So we used to speak in like our Garhwali language. A lot of times we had. So I still remember like last when he came to my room and we were talking, and then he left. So we have some like कुछ आपस में हम we were जोक, मतलब we were कुछ मजाक कर रहे थे, तो I मैं उसके साथ मैंने आई पुट अ जोक ऑन हिम लाइक कि चल ऐसे करके. सो आई रिमेंबर दैट वाज द लास्ट टाइम आई सॉ हिम लाफिंग, एंड देन आई हर्ड दैट न्यूज़ मैम. दैट वाज द थिंग.
While you were posted in Nagaland, there was one more incident. It was shocking.
हाँ जी.
Colonel Viplav Tripathi, his wife, his
हाँ
son
जी.
being shot.
जी.
What exactly happened, and how was it was it avenged? उसके बाद, उससे पहले और उसके बाद, anything would you like to share?
Ma'am, I would say that particular area, Bihang, which is in Manipur, which we call as like southern Manipur. So opposite Bihang, there was two, three camps of the VBIGs of PLA, UNLF. So there was a camp called Sinam. There was a camp called Kansaojang. Similarly, Faisat, and there are like two, three Burmese villages, I would say, and very close to them, they had their camps. The VBIGs used to have their camps, and GFF, which is
VIGs are the terrorists of
yes, valley-based insurgent groups. So like valley-based, when we talk about valley-based insurgent groups, they are particularly from a Meitei community. So VBIGs, we call them. So PLA, People Liberation Army, United National Liberation Front, and PRIPAC, and UNLF. So they all had their camps across the southern Manipur. So earlier also they have striked Indian Army at a lot of places. Like prior to Bihang, 1 year back, there was a one more ambush in which we lost one guy, and they also lost one. They also lost one of their own. So it was near the Rana Top place.
Myanmar surgical strike भी इसी की वजह से हुआ था.
Yes,
When
ma'am.
they attacked, it was these
Dogra,
VBIGs.
Dogra. Yeah, they were also VBAGs. It was a Dogra column, ma'am. It was a Dogra, six Dogra. So which was
And
a,
we
yes,
lost
ma'am.
so.
Around 14, we lost. They were going for a. There was a. It was a QRT, ma'am. So after they ambushed, like it was, ma'am, VBAGs also, and then there's a group called NSN KYA. So there were few militants from KYA also. KYA, there's a group part of it, Nikisumi. So which now has come under suspension of ops, like Sue. So they are inside in Dimapur, so no more like in Myanmar. So they were also part of it. So surgical strike was basically retaliation of this six Dogra incident in which we lost our Dogra Jawans. It happened in a place called Parlon, which is in Chandel district of Manipur. Party. So he was in this place called Bihang, and their headquarters used to be in Khuga Dam. There is a place in Sisipur. So while he went there, he stayed there for a night in one of the COBs there. He was visiting there on an official visit. He was there. So that area, particular, ma'am, initially in 90s till 95 was quite active. So like there used to be a lot of ambushes, and there and that place had a history of a lot of things. But surprisingly, from the day this incident happened, usse pehle, for last almost 8-10 years there was no activity there. So that area, because that was a trade route also, and trade route for a lot of things. So ma'am, जहाँ भी business होता है, generally they also don't do anything, because that trade which comes from Myanmar to Imphal, that is a lifeline for militants also. That is a lifeline for locals also, and that's how that industry works there. Like that areca nut, the timber, a lot of things come from Myanmar. So VBIGs also get their cut from that, and a lot of that's how economy works there in that place. So yeah, there was nothing from last I would say 7 to 8 years. There was no incident against security forces in that area. But at that particular day, they planned it. Colonel Viplav Tripathi, before Bihang, he was posted in Mizoram. There is a like hardly he has moved a distance. That battalion has hardly moved a distance, because if you see from Bihang to the place where he was earlier, so it is very close. So he was commanding his battalion there also, and then he reached this place, which is Bihang, and then he got his battalion here, 46 AR, 46 Assam Rifles. He was commanding that time. So yeah, he got his platoon like unit here, and then he was visiting this Bihang COB when this incident happened. So while coming back, so I think they got their inputs. The VBIGs, they have their own like sources. You would say local population, or there are many ways. Like the people who are doing business in that route, they might would have got a input like a QRT, a CO vehicle is going, and a lot of people are going towards that area, and then they got a time, and they did strike him. Like it was primarily the group which was involved in this was PLA and MNRF. So there is a Naga group who was part of this ambush, Manipur Naga Revolutionary Front. So this group which ambushed Colonel Tripathi primarily consist of these two major groups who were part of that ambush. So yeah, that was a unfortunate day for us, for everyone, when we lost him along with the Jawans. So yeah, they could. So in that firefight also, one of the MNRF militant, he also got injured. He also got gunshot, and one more got gunshot. So later on, we got them. We got them somewhere else, both of them. So yeah, so that's how things were there. So yeah.
The two terrorists involved in this attack were eliminated by 21 SF, right?
Yes, ma'am. Later on, somewhere, one of them was actively involved. Like we still saw that when we got him, there was a gunshot in his hand already, which was a previous gunshot of Colonel Viplav Tripathi. And through our people and sources, we got to know about his direct involvement in that operation. We were aware of his whereabouts wherever he is, and whenever he was coming inside, and we could get him. So he told everything about that particular ambush, from where they started, how they executed it, and what was the reason and all. So we got to know a lot of things from later on. Like we got one of those guys alive also, so we could get a lot of things out of him, from where they started, how they executed it, who was the main guy, the main conspirator or the leader behind this particular ambush. So we got to know a lot of things. Like for us, I don't think dead militant is helpful. For us, alive militant is more helpful. Like the kind of things, the kind of inputs we get from a live guy, it is way more beneficial than a dead militant, I would say. So yeah, we got to know a lot of things, because for us, there was a lot of things which were hidden. And after that particular incident, when we got him alive, so we got to know a lot of things about that particular month and how they were planning and what was the reason behind. So yeah, we could get it.
I've heard on multiple occasions कि जम्मू कश्मीर में जैसे terrorists होते हैं, the way they operate and the way they are handled, उससे काफी ज़्यादा difficult है to handle terror groups in the northeast. In fact, I remember one of my interactions where you said कि मणिपुर में they are terrorists, but the same terrorists, if they cross over to Nagaland,
Yeah.
they
Yes, ma'am.
cannot be eliminated
Yes,
or
ma'am.
something.
Like it's a story with I would say NSNIM. So NSNIM is in ceasefire with Government of India in Nagaland, but they are not in ceasefire with Government of India in Arunachal. So like yes, ma'am. There is like I will give you example of Mon district. So Mon district is a district in Nagaland state, and there is a neighboring state, neighboring district Longding, which is of Arunachal Pradesh. So these terrorists, they know if they will roam around in Longding, so they'll be neutralized because they don't have a ceasefire there, and they have been attacking security forces there. इनके लिए बहुत easy होता है मैम to just cross a district and cross a state and go there and live their lives, normal lives, and then come back again and create some disturbance. So like NSN, I am particularly I'm talking about uh, in that particular area. So I am used to do what ki Nagaland they have a ceasefire. So they have all their camps, their families, everybody, everything here. When they have to do some muscle show or they have to do something in army ke against kuch karna hai or do something. So then they used to cross to Arunachal and then they used to execute some ambush and they do some like these nefarious, all the extortion and all these activities there. So I would say, मैम ये जो सस्पेंशन ऑफ ऑप्स है, it is a good initiative by Government of India, जो भी है मैम, but it has to be in a controlled way. There has to be some control over these elements. Otherwise, for them, it is a beneficial thing. We will later in part talk about this Sioux things of all the different groups and how on ground they are benefiting from this Sioux rather than Government of India taking complete control of these groups after getting them under the ceasefire and the Sioux agreement. So like I
You,
would say, हाँ
yeah,
जी मैम.
please continue.
So
Please
is
continue.
मैम suspension of ops. Like
Yeah,
yeah.
SO जो लिखते हैं.
जी मैम जी. Yes मैम. So it's
Right.
like suspension of ops. So like ma'am, if you see, Government of India initially got NSN KYA also in ceasefire, but after a few years they broke the ceasefire. They went back to Burma. So similarly, NSN IM, initially they were fighting against Indian Army, but Government of India got them under ceasefire in Nagaland district, Nagaland state, not in Manipur. They are not under ceasefire in Manipur. Neither they are under ceasefire in Arunachal. Still, these IM guys, they do operate in all those areas. They have some designated camps permitted by Government of India that you cannot move out of your camps with weapons. There are some ground rules for them. Like if you move out of your camp, you have to inform the neighboring Assam Rifle Battalion, or you have to tell a police station. But and then you cannot move out with weapons. But still, they roam around, they loiter around in a lot of places with the weapons for the extortion. If you see, ma'am, these Sioux ground lines जो बनाई है, ma'am, if you
हाँ
see, they
जी.
are very good. They are very good. अगर if these militants in Northeast, they adhere to it, they are perfectly fine. You can you'll have a complete control over them, because after the suspension of ops agreement, these militants also, whosoever is registered with Government of India, they get a stipend, monthly stipend. They get a monthly stipend from Government of India. So Government of India pays them, like monthly they pay them 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 rupees.
They're basically terrorists
They
in one
are,
state.
yeah, militants. In Northeast, we call them militants and terrorists. There's a slight difference. So, Government of India pays them, like a lot of like NSN, Nikisumi, those groups. They are under. So, Government of India is paying them monthly amount, so that they don't go back to the same grid. They join the mainstream. So, it's a very like whosoever has made the SU guidelines, they are perfectly designed and they are perfectly, but on ground, nobody sticks to it. No militants stick to it. Like if you see, ma'am, I'll just give you example of Dimapur to Imphal Road, which is a national highway. So almost every day there are
Dimapur is Nagaland and Imphal, of course, is
Imphal, yeah, Manipur.
Manipur.
So almost, ma'am, per day, I think there are 500, 500, I'm telling you the minimum figures, like minimum 500 trucks, they ply from Dimapur to Imphal for food, for kerosene, for petrol, for all gas and all supplies. They are dependent on that. So almost every day, ma'am, there are 500 trucks passing through that highway. And similarly, ma'am, there are 4 or 5 different groups who are extorting money from these trucks. So like from one truck, they from one truck, like they are taking 10,000 rupees per truck. So one group, just imagine, ma'am, how big, if if they are we are
ये
not putting
पूरा
control over them.
extortion racket ये I mean, how many groups are there? So
Like, ma'am, if you see in that highway, NSN IM takes a extortion, NSN KYA takes a extortion. Then there are a few cookie groups which they take extortion. Then there are when they I'll just tell you like starting from Dimapur. So like if you start from Dimapur, first, NSNIM takes the extortion money from them. Then, in between, KYA takes the extortion money from them. Then, once they reach KPI, then there are few cookie Sioux groups which take extortion from them. Then, when they reach Sekmai, which is a part of like Maiti area predominantly, there then the VBIGs, the Arembai Tengol, they all take extortion. So, ma'am, जो 1 रुपए की चीज which is starting from Dimapur, so by the time it reaches Imphal, it is already maybe 80 rupees, 70 rupees. So all that cost, जो 1 रुपए से 80 rupees, 79 rupees, it is burnt by whom? It is the civilians, the locals, they are paying for it. It is not affecting, but आप ही देखिए मैम, that 79 rupees, it is being distributed in so many sub groups, like starting from IM, KYA, cookie groups, Arembai, and how big is the economy? Just imagine 500 trucks in a day, and you just supposedly say 10,000 rupees. So you can imagine, ma'am, how much money every day they're earning from only from extortion. So, ma'am, this is something like we are giving them an oxygen to breathe. We are giving them like so much money. They have made an economy out of it. And this is only from extortion. Other than that, like if you see, there are road projects. The government of India like has after I would say, ma'am, there was a drastic change. But I have been in Northeast since 2000 almost 15 now. So I have seen the conditions of road then, and now I have seen the condition of road. They are, ma'am, 100 times better. But I will tell you one more thing, ma'am. Wherever there are insurgent groups, you see, I have seen personally, ma'am, Manipur, Pehle was like Manipur, Nagaland, and Arunachal. All 3 states, roads were not very good. We saw the transformation. We are like, we have lived it. We have walked, we have driven those roads. We have seen a drastic transition, ma'am. Arunachal is way more ahead now. Like you see highways, you see roads. Why? The only reason is there are very less district. Tirap, Changlang and Longding, which are affected by militancy, and वो भी एक बहुत ही negligible हो रहा है मैम धीरे धीरे. So they don't stop that construction work. They don't stop that construction going on. They don't stop the government projects which are going, the money which is rightly being uh, implemented on the projects. But you just see the example of Nagaland. There's a district called Moon, like we district headquarters. So there is a road which goes from Sonari to district headquarters. Ma'am, I'll say there are 100 swimming pools in that road. So like it is something, मतलब वो road ऐसी road है कि nobody would like to go. And the condition is same till now. And it is, I'm not talking about Moon, I'm talking about, let's say, example of Dimapur to Kohima, which is Kohima is like capital of Nagaland. So still that road, मैम, हम देख रहे हैं 2014 से अभी तक वो रोड बनी रही है. Why? Because of same reason we were discussing. There are 10 different groups, everybody taking 6%, 7%, 8%, or 10% of the project, which is being implemented by government of India. But how will a contractor work on that road when he has already paid 50, 60, 70% of the amount to these guys? And उसके बाद भी then there is a thing कि Christmas आएगा, they'll ask donation for Christmas. Then something will, election will come, then they'll ask donation for elections. So that's how, ma'am, SU ground lines are very effective if they are implemented properly on ground. But I personally feel this SU guidelines have given them so much oxygen. They have grown bigger than their boots. These all groups which once were on the verge of extinction, जो बिल्कुल खत्म हो चुके थे, now again with empowering with them with so much money, with so much power, like all the political parties, I would say, for their own benefits, for their own key elections, may they would help. Because, ma'am, election may, these are the groups through whom the parties get to elections का रुख बदलने का कोशिश करती हैं. They like to try to convince. They used to use them as, like, if you take example of Nagaland per se. So I would say election से time में these all groups become active. They roam around with weapons. उससे पहले आपको, you will only see them extorting money on the highways. But the moment election season comes, they all are in the villages. They all are partying. They all are campaigning for some other party or other party like this. So what does उस time पे क्या होता है, मैम? Supposedly there is a X party. They pay them 10 lakhs. Okay, this is my candidate. You have to uh, ensure that all these votes go to this particular candidate. Then there is a Y party, which will give them 11 lakhs. Then there is Z candidate who will say, okay, I'll give you 12 lakhs. So these all things, मैम, you'll be surprised, ये सारी चीजें इम्फाल वैली में नहीं थी. इम्फाल वैली में election used to be all fair and जिसे कहते हैं clean. But in hills, it is still predominant. अभी भी हो रहा है. You talk about Naga Hills, you talk about Manipur in Tangkol areas, you talk about Kuki areas in Sisipur and all hill areas. So it is prevalent. These all Sioux groups, they will have their say over the elections. Like if you see this time, there was a Congress candidate, Alfred from Manipur, MP candidate. One was Maiti and one was this Alfred. So wherever Alfred was going for his campaigning, so NSNIM was firing NSNIM group, which is supposedly under Sioux's fire. So they were coming and they were firing on his gatherings. They were firing on his campaigning. So a lot of, like, if you go through the news, once you can showcase them articles. So like a lot of incident, lot of videos you will see, and these guys dispersing the crowd who have come to listen to him, and still he won the election. Still, this guy won the election. And surprisingly, ma'am, this was not prevalent in Imphal Valley prior to 3rd May. But now, since this conflict has started, so sadly, this thing has started in Imphal Valley also. Like this time, there was Arembai Tengol guys, and there were a lot of VYGs who were again campaigning for their own candidate and disturbing the campaign of other candidate. Still, this time there was a quite change which we saw in Manipur, I would say. Like these groups could not dominate the direction of the elections. Like in Hill, they were totally disturbing the Alfred, but still Alfred won the election. And in valley areas, Bimol, Lakhojam, people were campaigning against the other candidate. They were capturing the booth, and a lot of places you see videos. Many places elections have again occurred. ECI has given a said election will again, because they were booth capturing. Still, Bimol came out as a candidate, like as a winner candidate, Bimol and Alfred, both Congress MP. So both of them won the election, which I think is a good sign. Like instead of fear of guns, power, muscle and money, still people voted for a candidate, and they make them like the genuine people who they think deserve. They came out and they were the winners. So these, ma'am, Sioux guidelines, these are very much, I would say, misused by all the Sioux groups, be it Naga groups, be it Kuki, be it Maiti, be it anyone. So, like, if you see how 3rd of May started. So, 3rd of May, there
3rd
was a
of May
confrontation.
2023, right?
Yeah, 2023, ma'am. So, see, just a month back, one of the Sioux camps was looted by Davidson. There was a militant KLA. So he looted one of the Sioux camps. He ran away from there with all the weapons which were kept inside that Sioux camp. So, and then when there was a confrontation in the Kangwai, there is a place. So, like Maiti and Kuki areas intersect there. So there were two individuals. There were two Kuki individuals per se, जिनके वीडियो सर्कुलेट हुए थे with a AK-47. So, and what happened that time? When Maiti saw कि these are the people who are coming with AK-47, so they also came. They also came with the pistols. They also started ransacking police station. They also started putting pressure on everyone. कि we also want AK. We also. So had the Sioux ground rules been implemented very positively, on, like, have they been under control, that situation would not have risen. They would have just come unarmed, and police would have taken control of the situation, and things would have been normal. But since they were all carrying automatics, people, both sides were started firing on each other, and things went wrong that day. So I would say, ma'am, this Sioux guidelines, it has to be very uh, positively
Should be
implemented. These groups, they become the main stakeholders. Like they can decide the who will win, who will not win. So this time, first time, I would say Manipur has given a mandate that these things will not work. These muscle bar, these AK automatics, nothing will work, and we will vote for a candidate whom we want, whom we genuinely want. So that's a very uh, positive change among the whole chaos which has been created from 3rd of May. And people are getting to know the truth about the ecosystem which used to work in that complete state. So yeah, that's how it is.
Does this affect the morale of the soldiers as well? I mean, police though, I can't even fathom what the police is going through, but does it impact the morale of the soldier? How do you see it?
Ma'am, this
That's
complete situation,
yours.
Haji ma'am, this complete situation is definitely affecting. I will not say about army. I will say, like, I'll not only say about army. I'll say about CRPF also. I'll say about Manipur police also. Ma'am, whatever this conflict has taken a course of action, जो भी हुआ है, ma'am, starting 3rd of May. So if you see, predominantly these the elements, I will say these radical elements of the society, they have taken an upper hand, and be it in a Maiti society, be it in a Kuki society. So initially, I'll give you a basic example of, you just see Manipur police. So if you see, Manipur police has been the most effective police. Like they were the one who were able to eradicate militancy from Imphal Valley. They were in the forefront of the operations against VVIGs. So there was that time, there was nothing like कि I am a Maiti police personnel. I'll not. उस समय ये था कि government, we are all working for government of India. Government of India wants VBAGs out of this state. Government of India want a rule of law to be implemented. So we all will implement. So Manipur Police, Assam Rifle, Indian Army, CRPF, everybody was working for a one, जिसे बोलते हैं, there was a one goal कि to eradicate militancy from Manipur, to get back rule of law, to भैया, we have to give the safe environment for everyone. So they were in the forefront. But with this situation, ma'am, it's more of an ethnic clash. It's more between, like if you see, between the Kukis and Maitis. So this particular thing has taken a lot of like थिंकिंग प्रोसेस, मैं बोलूंगा मैम कि काफी चेंज हो गई है between, like what has happened particularly, I'll tell you. There are few examples. I'll talk about one of the Manipur police commando who was a deputy SP, Achauba. So he's a very good friend of mine. We have a lot of interaction. So there was a protest going on. So these Arembai Tengol guys, I'll say the name also, Robin Mangang of this Arembai Tengol. So they were protesting, and then in Kilabi, this has become a very common scenario there. They all come out with automatics, even for protests in Imphal Valley, in front of police headquarters. They will come with AK-47. In front of CM House, they will come with AK-47. And this Achoba was on duty there, so he was trying to stop them not to move ahead, just go back. So what they did is they fired on his vehicles, Deputy SP's vehicle. They fired. I'll share the photographs. It is in the media also everywhere. So they fired on the Achoba's vehicle. So police, because police was overpowered by them, so then they got Achoba. Achoba was there. He's this Robin Mamang, who is a Arembai Tengol militant, I would say. He thrashed this deputy SP in front of everyone. And thrashed, I would say, not once. He thrashed him badly, so badly that Achoba was admitted in one of the hospitals there. I'm forgetting the name of the hospital. And even there is a photograph of Manipur CM visiting Achoba in the hospital in which he's lying in the bed. So just imagine, ma'am, every whole Manipur, whole police department, everybody knows who has mishandled, who has fired on the police vehicles, who is the guy who has slapped their deputy SP. Still, that guy has not been arrested. Still, there is no FIR against him. And he's still roaming freely. He's still roaming freely in Imphal with all the weapons or automatics and all. So, ma'am, you can just imagine कि how much are their hands tied. Like a deputy SP, for me personally, अगर मेरा कोई जवान या किसी के साथ कुछ ऐसा हो जाए, मैम, I will break, I'll lose everything, ma'am, कि whatever is to get back that guy and जो भी है, ma'am. But just imagine, ma'am, a Manipur police which used to be so powerful once, powerful in the sense कि in their decisions, in their decision making, everything. Now their hands are so tied up that their deputy SP is admitted in a hospital. Everyone knows who is the individual who has done it, who are the people who have executed this. Still, they can't do anything against them. So there is something everyone need to understand that Manipur police, I won't say they are biased, but they are also tied up. They have their family. There is one more incident in which five of the PLA terrorists, they were caught by one of the police guys. I'm forgetting his name. And he was he was the OC of that police station. So what these people did, they went to his home where his kids and family were there, his wife, family, everybody was there. So they burnt his house. They broke everything in his house. They went inside. So, ma'am, even the police families of the police personnel there, they are not safe at all in Imphal. Everybody is fearing his life, his or him, somebody's life. Like they know कि if we do anything against these people, today they have taken over the complete state. Arembai, PLA, VBIGs, they have taken over the complete system. So how, if their own families are not safe, how would they take a decision against them? So I would say Manipur, I'll give you one more example. There is a IGP, Kabib, he is a IGP in Manipur. So he was going for a crowd mob control, stopping a mob which was advancing towards the CM house someday. So what happened, ma'am, ki that particular day mob came again. They were using weapons, automatics also. Then they're using pellet gun, like this. What do you call it? The slingshot. Like they make metal के वो छोटे छोटे बनाते हैं. उससे it is as good as a bullet, man. If it hit you in the right place. So they were using it on the police vehicles. So they were trying to control them. IG Kabir was on their own ground. What they did is they burnt his vehicle, his own like government vehicle. They mob came, they just burned his vehicle. So what did we do? We as individuals did not fire. We as an individual did not. Somebody burning a police vehicle, what does that indicate? And this is just basic few example which I have seen. You just imagine people coming to police station, looting weapons, 400, 500 weapons at a go. And it has not happened कि 3rd May को incident हुआ, 4th May को हुआ और 4th May के बाद फिर कभी नहीं हुआ. This looting of weapons, snatching of weapons from police, it was happening over a course of 2 months. Police, I would say, is very under a lot of pressure, which I could see from their actions. they are not able to control the things. They are also under a lot of immense pressure from the mob or from the uh, from whatever organizations, civil society organizations who start boycotting their families. They they threaten their family, they threaten their parents, and also obviously they are also bounded by some limitation. Police is also now bounded by limitation ki we can't go uh, after certain at certain we can't go further to arrest this violence, because otherwise it will affect their own families in Manipur, in like wherever they are based. So for them, it's a very they are on a very tight leash. They can't do anything even if they want to. They have been just because of this. Now, if you tell me the mob is ruling a state, there is no such system which can say I have a control of everyone. I will take a control of a state within a day or within. You can see just actions in there in Manipur. One day see they want Assam rifle out of Manipur, like 22 Assam rifle and 9 Assam rifle. Other day they are implementing ASFA. Why? For what reason? So that's how things are turning up very bad for everyone there. So like there is no ASFA in Imphal Valley per se. So like army has not, we have no say there as because we are bounded by all the legal things. We can't just go and do things at our own. So there are a lot of things which are like a lot of people I know personally a lot of good people there who generally want this thing to go out, but they can't do anything about it. I'll just tell you basic example, ma'am. There's a deputy SP retired now, Brinda. You would have heard about it if so yeah, she is very vocal against the present CM, Honorable CM of Manipur. He's quite vocal about him, and she's quite vocal about. So when she said about these things, like against the Arembai, those who have looted weapons, she said a statement about them, like this is not the way you do things. This is how. Next day, they attacked her house. They told her to offer an apology, and everything like her house was like she was staying in her house. Her parents were there. She was literally crying there. Then there was a human right activist, Bablu. He said a word ki we should not do. Like he just wanted to make people understand that we in this complete conflict have lost humanity. It is not that it is we have lost our cookies or Maitis. We have lost humanity. We are not even treating each other as humans, and which is very much visible from the present incident which has happened last day, where they have killed like kids like 3 year old and 8 year old and a lady 70 year old. So this is very visible, definitely, ma'am. In this conflict from 3rd of May, what Manipur has lost is humanity. So there is nothing. Isse pehle, there was an incident where a mother and a kid were coming from. There is a place called Kangchup to Imphal. They were coming in an ambulance. So a mob consisting of women, I would say, the so-called Mira Baibis who call themselves torch bearers of the state and whatnot. So they stopped that vehicle. They burned that vehicle with a mother and a kid inside that vehicle, which was coming from Kangchup towards this place, Imphal.
I
So,
remember this incident. 11
sorry?
year old kid. I remember this incident. 11-year-old kid, right?
Yes,
Small
ma'am.
kid. And he was injured, I think,
Yes, ma'am.
already.
He was injured. He was injured. He had a injury also. So while they were taking him to the hospital, and this again, ma'am, this vehicle was not that key. It was moving alone. It was moving with the one of the SP's vehicle, which was escorting them to Imphal. So he was so helpless. And in that incident also, ma'am, how can a mob burn a vehicle with a woman and a kid inside, and you are not even firing a single shot? Like police who are supposedly there to protect them, you are not even firing a single shot. There is not even a single individual who has burned that vehicle. He has been injured or has got a bullet injury. Had there been intention to protect that vehicle, to protect that mother and a kid when they were being evacuated to the hospital, so they would have fired around. They would have fired at the leg, or they would have fired in the somewhere they would have fired, but they did not fire. So be it, I would say, be it Maiti side, be it Kuki side, be it Naga side, wherever, ma'am, whatever we have lost in Manipur, it is humanity. And since start of conflict till this date, you can see from the incident, they're not even sparing kids, women's as old as 70 years, 80-year-old. So that's how that ugly, this conflict has turned to. So it's very unfortunate to see such incidents still happening after even after 1.5, 2 years. So people we generally knew like the people like Maiti, Kuki, they have to think about it. They have to take a pause. They have to take a pause that where are we heading? What are we teaching our coming generations? They are also seeing the same thing. And it is only increasing the divide and hatred between each other. So it's a very alarming situation, I would say, for Manipur as a state, I would say, per se. Yeah.
My God, this is I'm shocked beyond words, really. I mean,
Yes.
I knew few incidents, but then each day was so shocking that I stopped keeping a tab of the things that were happening in Manipur. Nectar, so very recently his name popped up in the headlines that
Yes.
he's now in charge of the security. What exactly
Yes.
is Nectar sir's? And Nectar sir, from what I understand, is 21 para SF, right?
Haji, Haji.
And now he's taken over security.
Senior SSP, ma'am. Senior
Senior
SP of Manipur State. So yeah, he is part of our unit, ma'am. And last year he took over as senior SP in the Manipur Police. So currently he was posted in Jiribam district. It is an incident of yesterday only I'm talking about. Like we spoke about the how in the tight leash police individuals like SPs and all people are there in Imphal Valley per se. So similarly, he is also part of the same organization now. Like he's in the police now. So he is also under a lot of pressure and a lot of like things under which is happening. Like yesterday, ma'am, in Ziribam, this incident happened. So again, there was the Arembai Tengol and this VBIGs, they went inside the Kuki village, they burned few churches and houses again. And then there was some confrontation there. And then these groups, there is a G5 group like PLA, Unilife and all. So they came and they came towards police
G5.
station.
Basically, VBIGs जैसे ही.
Haji ma'am, they have formed a new group nowadays. They call it G5, like PLA, Pripa, KYKL, and this one more group is there, KCP. So there are five groups basically who are part of this G5. They have given a name now in Valley. So wherever they are going to attack, wherever they are doing anything, they are doing it together. They are forming a team and then doing. So Ziribam police station. Yesterday there was some confrontation, so he tried to convince them not to do anything mischievous or not to. But then later in the part of the evening, they came firing towards the police station, Ziribam police station, to again loot the weapons. And as we are discussing right now, like nobody fired earlier when weapons were being chased, weapons were being looted from the police stations. Nobody fired. Nobody even, no, not even a single individual was injured, ma'am, when these 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 weapons were looted. And at that also at different periods. I'm not talking about one day. Like आज एक हफ्ते बाद फिर चोरी हो रहा है आठ मतलब after 4 weeks again there is a loot of weapons again happening and every day ma'am happening. So how can't we stop? मतलब एक बार होता है दोबारा कैसे आप होने दे रहे हैं इस चीज को? Same thing was they were attempting to loot the weapons again in the Ziribam police station. So initially he fired few of the warning shots. Please don't proceed, go back and all. Because
Nectar sir
nowadays,
himself fired, you mean?
sorry,
Nectar sir himself fired.
not Nectar sir, his boys and the police
Again.
guards were posted there to give them a warning shot like in the air, ki go back, don't come. Because nowadays mob, if you talk about mob, ma'am, in Manipur, so you cannot say mob is a mob. There nowadays mob is like 70% with automatic weapons. This is a new definition of a mob in Manipur nowadays. Mob is not that mob where people are just coming out from their homes and protesting peacefully. Mob nowadays in Manipur is like a mob is if there are 100 people, out of them 60 people are having automatic or pistol or whatever things they have. So again that mob came. This is a modus operandi, ma'am, in Manipur. Like initially they keep women and kids ahead for any protest, and then behind are those VVIGs and those all elements, RMB and all. So again they were coming to ransack that police station and loot the weapons there. So initially he fired few blank rounds in the air and he gave them a warning shot, don't go ahead. But then they fired again and they injured one of his own police personnel who was posted there. So then perforce they have to fire on them on their knees and whatever they to contain that protest. And that's how one of the individuals he got shot in that. Uh, one of the Maiti individual who was again the part of that irregular malls with automatic weapon and pistols. He came there, and he was again part of this complete thing. And that's how they could prevent those mob to loot that police station. But again, see, like I told you, like I gave you example of Achauba, who was attacked by this Robin Mamang guy. I was giving you example of one of OCs whose house was burnt, and IG Kabir whose own vehicle was burnt. So now he did something which was ideally to be done in such situations. If you have to prevent a mob with automatic to loot your police station, you have to retaliate because they are also firing. You can't just wait and just lose your 6, 7 police guys over there in the police station, just watching, oh, let them come. So he has to retaliate. Out of that retaliation, one of the individual has passed away. He was a Maiti civilian who has passed away. And because of them, now people are against him. Like the Maitis, they are giving them a warning, like, we'll not leave you, we'll not leave your family, we'll not leave this, we'll not leave. So you can understand in how much pressure that individual who is a Maiti himself, who has been working for them, who is working for peace and everything, he is under now a lot of immense pressure from his own society when he is doing a right thing. It is a perfect example, ma'am. We have been all waiting for कि सही decision लो, सही काम करो, and he did the right thing, so, which every police guy who was protecting a police station, which have been looted before in Fall Valley or in the hills or in Ukhrul also, one of the weapon were looted, like 16, 17 AKs were looted. So this is the appropriate action which has to be taken by police to stop a mob which is coming around with automatics loot weapons. So he took a right decision. Now whole society, whole public, everybody is against him. And today he has been suspended also, and inquiry has been put on him. So that's
Who
how
was suspended?
Col
Nectar?
Nectar, yeah, the suspension order has come now, and there is an
I'm
inquiry which
a
is,
little shocked really because
yeah,
when
yeah.
Nectar sir joined Manipur, there was a wave of there was hope कि such good individual is taking up this security of Manipur, and
Yes, ma'am.
I'm surprised really.
Yes, ma'am. And what was the right thing supposed to be done at that situation? He did the right thing. But now, out of the pressure of mob and then a few leaders of political party resigning, he has been suspended and inquiry has been put against him. So I remember now, ma'am, he's a police guy only. He is SP. So a good friend of mine. So one day he has put in his status. I remember now 6, 7 months back. तो बड़ा ही इमोशनल सा एक उसने स्टेटस डाला था, लाइक ही वाज एड्रेसिंग बेसिकली टू हिज पुलिस गाय बॉयज एंड हूसोएवर आर सर्विंग इन पुलिस कि यू विल नॉट गेट any medal or nobody will say you have done something good if you do anything such. You will only lose your family and you will only lose your friends in this conflict. This was that status was like showing the helplessness of these guys who want to do right thing but they can't do right thing. And if you do something right which is actually there to contain this violence and contain this clutter which has been created in Imphal Valley, you will be the enemy of the mob. You will be in the crosshairs of those VVIGs, those Arembais, those elements which have taken over the sane minds of the Manipur, who actually want peace to be in Manipur, but they have been all been overtaken by these individuals. I'll tell you, ma'am, in all Manipur, all the fringe areas, jahan pe bhi there is a Kuki and Maiti village, Kuki Maiti village, it is not the Kuki and Maiti villages of that particular village who are fighting. They are the individuals who come from Imphal, who come from Herok, who come from all those disturbed like areas which have been hub or insurgency. So they mobilize their boys from certain area, they create a disturbance, they'll go back. And then who has to suffer? The villagers of that particular village, like I'll tell you Kangchuk, I'll tell you Kakching, I'll tell you Palel. So there was an incident in Palel. So these VYGs came, they took a route from Naga village, they attacked the Kuki village, then they got stuck. They could not move out. And it was the cookies only of the Palel who gave them a safe passage. They told, please go back, we won't do anything. We were there on the ground that day. We saw that thing. There is a video also, I'll share it with you. There's a video on internet also. You can see like those militants, the so-called militants, PLA and UNLF, they were taken out from that cookie village safely in a police vehicle. And SP was also there, Chandel. SP Chandel was also there. He was taking the police vehicle and he was given a safe passage. Those militants were given a safe passage. So people people are genuinely good. People don't want this thing, but but sadly, ma'am, this society has been taken over by such elements like these people, the Arembai, the VBIGs, jinka May 3rd se pehle there was no relevance. They have totally vanished. They have totally vanished, matlab vanished. There was Manipur, Imphal was seeing, matlab I have seen, ma'am, Imphal through going through a lot of phases. Like when I was first in Manipur, the first time आया था, तो I could only see the ladies, imas selling petrol, all रास्ते में बस पेट्रोल ही बेचते थे. They were all shuttered down because समय नागा closures, नागाज ने block कर रखा था that highway. So there was nothing coming from that highway. So I have seen that day जब Imphal में hardly there were one or two good restaurant to eat and places to go out or anything. And from that phase in 2021, 22, we have seen Imphal going through drastic changes. Like economically, there were a lot of individuals opening up a restaurant for of their own. A lot of women getting into handicraft, a lot of expos, and like Miss Femina was there, organized in Manipur. Nobody would have imagined in their last lifetime कि जहाँ पे एक हिंदी मूवी भी for मतलब स्क्रीन नहीं होती है in Manipur, like banned. It's a Hindi
Oh,
movie. Hindi movies are banned in Imphal Valley. So there is no Hindi movie showcast in Imphal Valley. जहाँ ऐसा भी नहीं होता है. So वहाँ imagine a Miss India being organized. So you can just imagine कि वो किस मतलब मतलब आर्मी, इंडियन आर्मी, पुलिस, स्टेट, गवर्नमेंट, इतना सालों का एफर्ट लगा था एक स्टेट को वहां तक ले जाने में कि पीपल वर अर्निंग अ गुड लिविंग, पीपल वर ओपनिंग अप लॉट ऑफ वेंचर्स. मैंने देखे थे मैम, लाइक छोटे छोटे यंगस्टर्स लाइक 25 years, 27 years, they were opening cafes, shops and everything. They were going very well, they were running very well, they were running something for their own, they were standing at their own. जो स्टेट जिसने इतना कन्फ्लिक्ट देखा था, फॉर देम इट वाज अ गुड थिंग कमिंग अप. बट सैडली नाउ वी आर अगेन बैक टू 20 years, जहाँ पे these mob has taken over the control of the state. So it's a very sad state right now, unfortunately. Yeah.
uh, Digvijay, is it true that there are external elements involved? And is it true that it is connected to Myanmar?
Ma'am, I'll take you again back when insurgency started. Like, I'll talk about complete Northeast. We'll talk initially about Nagas because they were the first Nagas and UNILEF. So basically, ma'am, ये क्या था? This was a United Naga Council. They were all initially like they were like organizations, social organization. They grew up as a social organization that we are here to fight for the social cause and all. And slowly, like Fizo of UNC, he went to UN, he went to US. It was not that US came here or US came to pick him up. He went to US asking for intervention in separate Nagaland from India, to separate Nagaland from India. Similarly, he still goes to a lot of international forums. And what recently, a week back, you would have heard NSNIM, what they are asking for. They want a third party intervention in Indo, like in the Naga peace talks. They want intervention of third party. According to the Amsterdam Agreement, they want US or UN or some other country to interfere and mediate for the peace talks. So can you imagine, ma'am, that thing started in late in 1950, 1960s. And Avibi, if you see Kokomi, which is a Mighty frontal organization for UNILEF. His chairman Athoba, he goes to UN, still goes to the international Geneva forums and all. He speaks against like Indian government is has matlab they have occupied our territory, Kangle Park, and we want it was a merger agreement, it was a fraud merger agreement, and we want our still they are talking about. These are Maitis. Again, then cookies again, they also go to international forum, they're asking for their help. So if you see, ma'am, it is a trend. It is a trend in Manipur, ma'am, कि बोलते हैं ना कि मतलब they want media hype. They want them to be exposed as something international cause. Like so, इनके लिए सबसे easy होता है कि get a flight ticket, go to some other country, speak in some international national events, and like speak about Indian government being not agreeing to their merger agreement, and that we have been duped by Indian government to get into merger with government of India. Similarly, जो J&K में what they have been asking for. So similar things they have been doing. So I would say, ma'am, NACN-IM, we'll take first example. आप देखेंगे मैम, NACN-IM, UNILEF, VBIGs, I would say PLA, they all are supported and helped by China and also backed by ISI. So there is nothing hidden in it. There is nothing hidden in it. If you see, you just type it, NSNIM and China and ISI and everything, you will get everything out of it. It's in an open media, and it is not something I have written or you have written. It's what those NSM IM guys have written. It's what we have apprehended a lot of individuals who have given their statement that we went to Pakistan, got trained. Ulfa, they went to
Even
Pakistan.
now? Do they go there even now?
You don't know, man. You don't know how Bangladesh has turned up. You never know that again. This thing will, they will have a like all these VVIGs. You will be surprised. All these VVIGs, and SNIM including, they had a base in Bangladesh. They had a base earlier in Bangladesh. Still, they have a base in Bangladesh.
Oh yes, I think China had created some airstrip also, I think. है ना,
Yeah.
ऐसा कुछ story था.
Yes, they have been dumping weapons there. They have been dumping ammunition there. So that's how it is. China is seeing we as a country, we as a India are very vulnerable in those states, like because of the ethnic divide, because of the economic backwardness, because of a lot of things. So जो trust जो उनको government of India में होना चाहिए था, which is like government of India तो अपना काम कर रही है मैम. They are sending money for projects, but these VBIGs, they take their cut. They are not letting that development percolate through the grassroots, like कि roads हो गया, projects हो गए, schools हो गए. So who will they look upon? They will think कि our government of India is not taking care of us, and who will they look upon? They look upon China, and China sees all these things. See, if we as a country are observing a lot of things about other countries, so is other country doing with our own country. And with this Manipur event every day in news, and characters who are going to Geneva, who are going to UN and speaking about, so they can be easily approached by anyone. For that matter, ISI, for that matter, China, MSS, whosoever want to
You're
contact them,
right.
they can be.
I'll just share my experience.
Ji.
This is on Twitter space after the Manipur chaos started. I remember Pakistanis luring certain community
Yes,
from
ma'am.
Manipur. I
Yes,
remember
ma'am.
that.
If you see, ma'am, I हम लोग भी ये चीज करते रहते हैं. सो देयर वाज अ पॉडकास्ट, नो नॉट पॉडकास्ट, देयर वाज अ ट्विटर थ्रेड गोइंग ऑन सम ऑन मणिपुर एंड ऑल. सो आई सॉ supposedly like 50-60 handles which were like Khalistani, or which were like from Pakistan based, and all some duping Indian names and all, and they all were saying about how India has annexed Kashmir. India is similarly doing with the Christians, and similarly doing with the Meiteis, and they are all finding their ways and means to divide this, broaden this divide. मतलब आप देख लीजिएगा, this is a pattern though. We have to counter them, we have to do these all things, but that it'll keep on happening. It'll keep on happening till the time we are not able to address our vulnerabilities, ma'am. Like why 3rd May को मैम ये this incident happened almost more than 1.5 years. Still जो एक्शन हमें करना चाहिए, जो मैम, लाइक आई वाज इन JNK व्हेन आर्टिकल 370 वाज रिवोक्ड. उससे पहले हमने भी बहुत पत्थर खाए. वी आल्सो सॉ द सिचुएशन, हाउ मिलिटेंसी वाज गोइंग ऑन, हाउ एवरीथिंग वाज गोइंग ऑन. एंड वी सॉ व्हेन जब ये बात शुरू हुई थी 370 हटाने की, इसकी शुरू हुई थी बात, तो इमरान खान इन UN सेड कि खून की नदियां बहेंगी, इफ यू ब्लड शेड विल बी देयर. मुफ्ती सेड, शी सेड कि तिरंगा लहरा के दिखा दो JNK में, विल शो यू. तिरंगा नहीं लेने, मतलब यू कैन नॉट होइस्ट ट्राई कलर इन JNK एवर इफ यू डू दिस थिंग, ऐसे करके. सो दीज वर द काइंड ऑफ थिंग्स दे वर स्पीकिंग अगेंस्ट आवर कंट्री एंड अगेंस्ट आवर गवर्नमेंट एंड एवरीथिंग. बट आई वॉज देयर मैम जिस दिन आर्टिकल 370 हटा मैम. फ्रॉम दैट डे टिल टुडे आई हैव नॉट सीन स्टोन पेल्टिंग इंसिडेंट. आई हैव नॉट हर्ड अबाउट स्टोन पेल्टिंग इंसिडेंट देयर. नॉट इवन अ सिंगल इंडिविजुअल. दैट डे जिस दिन हटा था मैम, विजन होल वर्ल्ड वाज लुकिंग एट JNK कि आज तो मतलब यहाँ पे कुछ हो जाएगा मैम. बट दैट डे, दैट पर्टिकुलर इंसिडेंट, गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया showed their willpower. We showed our willpower. Who is government of India's willpower? Army, um, CRPF, BSF. They were deployed in each and every corner of state, everywhere. So supposedly लोग सोच रहे थे कि आज ऐसा प्रोटेस्ट होंगे, कल ये होगा, वो होगा. You won't imagine मैम, everything died down. वो दिन है और आज का दिन है. Friday, after Friday prayers in Srinagar, there are no stone pelting, there is no protest. Otherwise मैम, it was a, हम भी ये देखते थे वहां पे. हम भी जब जाते थे, I went around with my family, I was going through Srinagar, तो किसी ने बोला फ्राइडे फ्राइडे कि अभी आप लोग चले जाओ ऐसे, यहाँ दंगा होगा काफी. सो इट वाज अ कॉमन साइट बिफोर दैट. बट हमने किया मैम, JNK में वी डिड, वी प्रूव्ड कि this is what we can do and this is what we did, because गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया ने एक विल दिखाई थी वहां पे कि हाँ वी कैन डू दिस थिंग एंड वी विल डू दिस थिंग एंड वी डिड दैट थिंग. सिमिलरली मैम सेम जो विल है एक कंट्री की, एक नेशन की जो विल है, वी नीड टू शो द सेम थिंग in Manipur also. Till the time we don't show our intent, till the time we don't show our will, कि we as government of India are there and we will decide what will happen, how to control this situation. So till the time people like these elements, Arembai and these all guys, they will keep on taking over what we as a government of India are supposed to take decisions for the state and development and everything. These people will take decisions and we have to negotiate with them. So हमने मैम आप देखिए बुरहान वानी वाला इंसिडेंट हुआ था जेएनके में, तो हाउ ही वाज मेड अ हीरो थ्रू फेसबुक. आप हम लोग देखते थे कि ही यूज्ड टू पुट फोटोग्राफ्स ऑन विद एके, देन ही यूज्ड टू डू समथिंग विद ऐसे कुछ. तो he was glorified by everybody and he became a Facebook hero. And the day we
I
neutralized,
remember पाकिस्तान में बुरहान वानी के नाम से एक ट्रेन भी निकाली थी.
I think so, ma'am. I'm not very correctly remembering, but हाँ, that's how they have been doing it. So उन्होंने मैम बुरहान वाली को जिस दिन मारा गया था, so just see the aftermath of that. उसके बाद मैम कितने लोगों ने मिलिटेंसी ज्वाइन करी? Only 200 people, मतलब 200 लोग तो केवल मर गए थे in protest when बुरहान वानी died. उसके बाद there was a wave of recruitment in Valley, a wave of recruitment. Every second, third guy was picking up weapon like anything. And Pakistan very well, they utilized that situation like anything. And we suffered for this, we were suffering for that thing. Similarly, ma'am, same thing is happening now in Manipur. This guy, Kurungba Khuman, who is supposedly the Arembai ka chief, है ना? तो मैम दिस इज अ सीएम हाउस. सीएम हाउस के 200 मीटर पे उसने जो पुलिस की गाड़ी चोरी की है, उस गाड़ी के ऊपर खड़ा होके ही इज शाउटिंग, ही इज विद AK-47, ही इज अ सिविलियन विद AK-47, ही इज शाउटिंग, कुछ भी बोल रहा है. ही इज सेइंग थिंग्स अबाउट गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, ही इज सेइंग थिंग्स अबाउट सीएम, ही इज सेइंग थिंग्स अबाउट एनीवन. और आज भी मैम इफ यू ओपन द फेसबुक पेजेस ऑफ द पीपल इन मणिपुर, now it has become a trend. I'll share a few things with you. Now it has become a trend. They are all roaming around with weapons. They are all roaming around with like basic things. Like you won't remember. मतलब आप देखेंगे मैम, जैसे आप रील्स देखते हैं बच्चों के, जैसे कुछ भी करते रहते हैं. So now it has become a fashion. Like आप एक AK-47 के साथ फोटो डाल रहे हो, for girls also, for boys also. So why are we glorifying such things in a social media? And that also at this juncture where we know it can be most damaging. Like आज की डेट में he what he does is he comes on Facebook live कि I am here, I am fighting for this, I am fighting for this cause, I am fighting for this cause. We are making him so big. And उसको देख देख के मैम छोटे छोटे बच्चे, they are impersonating him, they are impersonating how he does things and all. कल की डेट में if he is being utilized by government of India, then just imagine how
The
much.
next Burhan Wani then.
Yes, ma'am. We are actually giving rise to a Burhan Wani in Northeast. Like if you see, आज भी मैम आप फेसबुक खोल लीजिए, इट हैज बिकम नॉर्मल थिंग. लाइक 4 kids like 17 years 18 years old with AK-47 roaming around and this flaunting with the goggles and some music and some random music and all. So that's how Abhi ma'am, just see what he did. He summoned all the MLAs of Manipur in the Kangla fort and everybody came there. You just see the power, how he has taken over the complete state. Not even the VBIG, just see an organization which was not even existent before this 3rd May, people didn't even speak about it. So how he has taken over the state. We are not doing anything. You'll be surprised, ma'am. I'll narrate you one incident. There was a Jawan of army who is posted in Rashtriya Rifles in J&K. So his family was traveling from Sisipur to KPI. KPI is a Kuki village from Sisipur. So in en route, what happened, ma'am? Their vehicle were stopped by the Maitis, those front-time guys, these Arembai guys only. So they said, "Okay, you come here, we won't let you go." And so there was a CRPF post very nearby. And what CRPF did was CRPF stopped these Arembai guys from doing anything to those family members. His mother was there, his father was there, his brother was there. The Jawan is posted and still in Rashtriya Rifles. So what they did, these Arembai snatched his family members from CRPF guys. CRPF guys fired also. And in this firing, this Korungba, who is the chairman of Arembai Tengol, he was also shot. He was admitted in hospital the same day. and he was present at that incident. That day, if you see the photographs when this incident happened, when he was admitted in hospital, everything is in social media. We don't need proof to validate anything. Everything is social media. He was the one who snatched those family members from CRPF. A जवान इंडियन आर्मी मतलब जवान है मैम, वो उसका फादर था, उसकी मदर थी. दे snatched him from him, those CRPF guys, and then he took them. और उसके बाद मैम 3 दिन बाद एक बॉडी कहीं पे मिली, एक बॉडी कहीं पे मिली. All were killed by these Arembai guys. And everybody knows the truth, who had done this, who has not done this. But still, you won't see any NIA inquiry for this. You won't say any जो भी inquiries होती है, whatever they try to put it on anyone, you will not see any inquiry, anything on these guys. You will see they are still roaming free. They are still calling people on Facebook. आ जाओ लड़ने. You go there. Police को they are saying कि come give your weapon to us, fight with us. So this is we have made him so big in the sense कि we are not realizing कि how much we are harming our own self, like our coming generations. So that's the strangest thing, ma'am, I saw in Manipur. We know एक जवान की mother and father है, and he has been his family members have been killed by certain this individual who same day was injured in the bullet injury by the CRPF जिससे वो छीन के ले गया था. CRPF was there. Still no inquiry. Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about it and that particular incident, ma'am. So sadly, ma'am, we are in such a state right now where we can't even save one of our own like family members, ma'am, who was there. So it's very unfortunate for us. So that's how, ma'am, जो आप कह रहे हैं कि जो मणिपुर conflict, अगर if you talk about कि if you say कि 3rd of May was orchestrated, I will say it was never orchestrated. It was all spontaneous. Nobody was prepared for it. Neither Cookies, neither Maitis. It was all spontaneous out of the reservation thing which has happened. And that was also very unfortunate on the part of High Court of Manipur also, which was taking a decision on the SC/ST decision, which even Justice Chandrachud also said that how can a so old, like 28-year-old bench of Manipur High Court take a decision on a matter which is a matter for president to consider. So still they took out that decision, and उसके बाद वो rallies भी थी, उसमें नागाज भी थे, cookies भी थे, they were all marching towards Imphal, and then this thing happened. So it was nothing planned, ma'am. I would say people say ki it was planned and all. There was nothing planned, but I will say the way it is taking the course of action, which it is taking right now, we have all exposed our vulnerabilities. Definitely, if people want to, China want to do something, anybody want to do something, they can do very easily because everybody now, be it Maitis, be it Cookies, they all are looking for ammunition. They all are looking for weapon. They all are looking for external help or for the money, for everything. So wherever they'll get help, they won't hesitate, and they have been doing it. VVIGs today also they have connections with China, and they are in Imphal right now. They are sitting in Imphal. How it is very easy for VVIG sitting in Imphal to connect to China and speak to them and talk to like whatever they want to do, whatever they want to ask for. So China will be more than happy to help them and do whatever they want to do if they have to. So this is a sad state we are in right now, and that's what it is, ma'am.
From what you said and what I understood is कि spontaneous था, लेकिन अब external elements start हो गए हैं involve होना, be it Pakistan, be it China. Of course, they operate together also.
Yes.
म्यांमार और मणिपुर इनकी closeness की वजह से from what I understand, some of the terrorists used to take shelter in Myanmar, and the Myanmar army used to allow it also.
Yes, ma'am.
Let's start from there. I want to understand how was Myanmar helping Manipur burn?
Ma'am, I would say when the conflict has not started, Manipur conflict has not started, neither the coup in Myanmar had started. So initially, ma'am, jitne bhi groups the, insurgent groups of Northeast, they were nurtured, they were supported by China. And China did it through two states of Myanmar, which is the Kachin state, KIA, and then there is a Wa state. We call it Wa state. So these were the two primarily states where all the insurgents from Northeast, be it NSNIM, be it NSNKYA, be it PLA, be it UNLF, they used to go there. China used to get them trained through KIA, and KIA used to train these guys. And then China used to support with the weapons through Wa state. Wa state at this time is the largest producer of weapon, like among the insurgent groups of Myanmar. It is the largest group if you see on internet, on YouTube, just see they're passing out. They have anti-aircraft guns, they have tanks, they have everything. So it is like a independent
Tanks?
state. Yeah, yeah, ma'am. So if you see Communist Party of Burma, you CPB, you call it. So it's like an autonomous region in Myanmar. They have a Chinese currency in their state and their region. They have Chinese diplomats coming in there passing out. Can you imagine? Like, can you just imagine in J&K, Salahuddin is coming for a passing out of a like LET cadres or something like that in
दलाल बिन मतलब you mean कि पाकिस्तान से कोई
just
officer?
J&K and attending a passing out. Similarly, a Chinese ambassadors, they go to the vast state during their passing out. The vast state which has been fighting against the Myanmar army. So for their independence and all. So they have already been given autonomy by Myanmar government also. So they are the largest producer of weapons. So they used to get our VBIGs. They all used to get their weapons, training and everything from China. China used to get it then through KIA, and now they used to come back and then fight. And China has been very beautifully doing it, ma'am. You just see in their own borders, they also share borders with all these rebel groups. Still, they don't have issue like us, like insurgency like us, or anything like this. So they are very smart in playing this game. They are feeding the rebels also, the Burmese rebels like KIA, Wa State, Arakan State. They have been doing a lot of things with them. And then on the other side, they are supporting the Myanmar army also. So like I had a very interesting interaction with one of the Myanmar army officers whom we rescued from somewhere. So we were talking with him and he was like, we were discussing and talking. So one of the interesting thing he said, कि China is like something we cannot avoid, and China is something like we want to avoid. China has put them in such a state that today if they are giving one AK-47 to supposedly Myanmar army, so tomorrow they are also giving two AK-47 to their rebels. So China want that disturbance. China wants these warlords like in Myanmar, different regions, so that they can exploit them according to their. They also know if Myanmar government is strong, they will dictate their own terms, and it will be difficult for China to control. It will be difficult for China to control them. So like Abhi recently. Like Eastern Command headquarters, like we have in Calcutta. So similarly, the Eastern Command headquarters is in Lashio. There is a place in Myanmar which was taken over by PDF. So what happened? China came to know they have taken over the Eastern Command headquarters. So there was a lot of pressure from Myanmar army. So initially, all the rebels who took over the Lashio, the headquarters, was supported by China only with weapons, ammunition, and everything. Now China said, "Oh, okay, you cannot do this thing. You have to leave Lashio. You cannot give it back to Myanmar army." So just imagine how can they dictate at both sides. Like I would say very well in a very particular manner. So now if they rebels don't listen to them, what will they do? See, all the raw material for weapons, for ammunition, you need raw material. Rebels cannot get the raw material at their own. All the raw material they are getting it from China, and that's how China has put a you आप बोलते हैं ना वो पानी का टैप कंट्रोल करता है वो तो it is actually controlling the supply of the raw material. The moment they rebels don't listen to him, they stops the supply of arms and ammunition to them through VA State, because for everybody VA State is a like mother organization for them, for all the rebels in Myanmar. So what they do is they just stop the flow of weapons and ammunition, and then rebels can't do anything, and army force they will take over again those places. So that's how China has got control over them. So China is still doing it, and VBIGs, Ulfa, uh, Barua, Pravesh Barua. There's a place called Ruili. It is very close to China border in and Myanmar. So all rebels like NSNIM you talk about Ulfa, you talk about VBIGs, all their leaders are there. So they have been sheltered by China, obviously, and they are being helped financially, like with war element, with weapons and everything by China. So China has they have been controlling the situation very well, and with the present situation when rebels are now speaking a lot against the Burmese rebels are speaking a lot against China, that how can you do this once we captured the Myanmar army headquarters in Lashio? How can you tell us to vacate it? You said you are helping us, but it's not the way. So later, nahi to aaj nahi to kal to ma'am, people will also realize that this is not a country we should look upon for. This is not a country. It is only the country which is exploiting us for his own needs. So aaj nahi to kal they will realize, and they have realized in the long term. Like Myanmar army, that officer, he was a senior officer, quite senior officer. He was telling me, like we almost saved his life. Matlab, like he from that situation, and the way we had an interaction with him. He was totally helpless. Like whatever we are being attacked, it is being provided by China, and then China comes to Mandalay and Naypyidaw and speaks to us and tell us that we'll give you weapons. How can these things work? But still, they can't avoid it. So they have this, like Hamari insurgency ki problem is quite old, but Myanmar also has, they have a lot of independent states like this, and who have their parallel economy, parallel rebel groups, and numbers are very huge there. So basically, the parent organization Kachin, who has trained NSN IM, NSN IM, PLA, KYA, and all. Now it is the first time in these many years. Now KIA is fighting against the same VBIGs, VBIGs who are with Myanmar army now. And how Myanmar army is using these VBIGs is they have given them shelter in their camps, and it was before coup also, before military coup also. These VBIGs, particularly of Manipur and Nagaland, all these states were supported by Myanmar army only. So they used to provide them weapons, they used to provide them everything. And still till today, there are places where they are sitting inside the Myanmar army camps. They are working together with like VBIGs and MA. They are fighting against the PDF, the People Defense Force, which is a local rebel group there. So they are fighting against each other now. And they are the one who have almost destroyed all the VBIG camps, PDF, across like Manipur. So now they are VBIG who were extending from almost central Manipur till southern, there were almost like 18, 19 camps. They are now only consolidated to two camps. So that's how PDF has done a work which, like, we as a government of India wanted to neutralize these guys, to contain this VVIGs and all, which we have been thinking about from so many years. They have did it in a year and a half only, which I was witness to it. Like we were talking about Colonel Tripathi, these guys came from Senam. So they did attack on Senam, they did attack on Kansaujang, they did attack on all the camps across. So now VVIGs are only restricted to two places. So actually, what PDF did is a work for us, and they are the same Kachin guys who have trained the VVIGs. So Myanmar, I would say Myanmar, the rebels, they are something akin to gun for fire. So like you gun for hire, not fire, gun for hire. Like you give them whatever they like. China has been helping them. China has been giving them money. They have been doing China work. They have been working on whatever way they have been doing. So they have a lot of things going on in their backside, and they also go through a lot of negotiations with countries and all. So that's how it is in Myanmar. Sadly, like the people are suffering a lot, and I don't think we in near future also there is some way we are going to see a stabilized Myanmar, because China will keep on pulling the threads there like it has been doing from so many years.
Very interesting. You went viral, massively viral. I'm sure you know this, right? You went massively viral when you got your Kirti Chakra. I don't think there was a single WhatsApp group I missed where your video was not doing rounds. What exactly happened? Because even that, I from what I understand, that operation took place in Manipur, and it was to save high value target, which would be, I'm assuming, some minister.
Yes, ma'am. Basically, we had an input. Like they have been doing this. Like I said, ma'am, whatever government of India, like center tries to implement in some new policy, some new road. There's a Kaladan project near Bihang where we ambush these guys. There's a crucial project going on for India, Kaladan project in that particular axis, and they they have been trying to. China has been trying to disturb that Kaladan project of India through a lot of rebel forces, be it Arakan, be it VVIGs, be it a lot of. So we have our economical interest in that particular area. So it is being disturbed by these VVIGs particularly, who had their camps across all those places, Faisat and all, Kansaujao. So there was a similar thing. Somebody was coming to inaugurate one of the big medical facilities in that particular area, which was a government of India's project. And again, these people were there to disturb the same thing. As I said, They don't want area to develop VPAGs or for that matter anti-national element. They just want area to remain backward and they want to dominate themselves. Like they just want to make their relevance कि अपना relevance बना रहे through these kind of actions so that people give them money and people are fearing all the times. So similar thing happened, ma'am. They came with the intention to target one of those individuals, and we already had an input that something we were on all on our foot, like something because Colonel Viplav Tripathi's ambush had also happened in the same place. So because of the sensitivity of the place, we already were working on that area that it should be because it should not happen something. So we got an input. We got input from one of their own itself that something akin to this is going to happen and they are planning it. And so we were all alert and we were at the right place sitting so that we knew that not if not today, tomorrow, day after, 4 days, 5 days, definitely they will come and they'll have this thing. So yeah, we were able to channelize them through particular ground sources and all. So we were able to get them, and that's how we neutralized them. And one of them was the CEO of the Joint Fighting Force. Joint Fighting Force is the main fighting arm of all the VBIGs, like UNLF, PLA, and all they are the fighting group, main fighting group. So CEO of JFFN is 2IC. So we were self-styled. They call it SS Colonel and SS Major, self-styled. So they have their own rank structure. So we were able to neutralize them and just avoid that thing which has occurred there. So we were able to contain it in a manner.
I would love to know what was this politician doing and what was his confession about?
So there is a MLA, basically TSK Singh. So he was before being a MLA, he was a contractor. So he used to get work on small contracts like construction of roads and all those things. So with the help of group, VBIG group, KYKL, he used to get contracts. So like a lot of contract was awarded to him on the basis of कि KYKL used to pressurize him कि like government कि भैया इसको contract दो. So that's how the ecosystem in Manipur is like. Contracts, if you talk about FCI, so and every group has a say. Like PLA has a say in that, Pripak has a say. You recently would have heard a news where the personal assistant of a food minister, the Yaima, Shushindro, who's a minister there, his personal assistant was kidnapped. Like he was kidnapped by the one of the VVIG groups, and basically on the construct of contracts only, they told him. And the same MLA, this Sushindro, once has raised an objection against one of the guys who was involved in basically hoarding the ration, the FCA ration, for which used to come for the civilians. So these all the militants groups, like I said, ma'am, regarding extortion and all, so they have a lot of say in the government projects like construction, be it distribution of rice, be it contracts, a lot of things. So similarly, this MLA, he was traveling to Nepal via Delhi, and along with him there were two cutters of KYKL, like SS Major and one more. So they were arrested by Delhi police in Delhi airport. So while they were flying, so later on, when they were arrested, so there were CDs and pen drives which were recovered from them, and both of all the CDs and pen drive, they were containing like all the details of security establishment and everything. So this case is in Live Mind. Case Live is a website where cases are there. So he has accepted this minister TSK, Thonjum Shyam Kumar something name. So he has accepted this in the court also. Yes, he basically what he did, ma'am, जो दो उसके साथ KYKL के कार्डर्स जा रहे थे, उनका भी उन्होंने फेक आई कार्ड बनाया था. So that fake आई कार्ड was made by the forest department. So on that fake आई कार्ड, they got their ticket reserved and they were flying to Nepal along with all those details. So like I said, ma'am, like you said ki foreign pass and foreign ISI and all whatnot. So yes, they are vulnerable. They आज भी ma'am, अगर if somebody is approached, they won't hesitate doing it because still there is that like अभी भी ma'am, they talk about merger treaty, they talk about India annexing their country and all. And with this unrest, जितना unrest ma'am हम इसको elongate कर रहे हैं, like Manipur unrest. So there will be a lot of people who will be willing and who will be willing to do or getting anything to do for the help if they want, मतलब कि वो किसी भी extent में जा सकते हैं, be it SI, be it anyone can exploit them, be it China, be it external agencies, whosoever want to do. So this guy was arrested there, and in his possession, like first of all, two of them they accepted, like we are KYKL cadres and we were going there, and VBIGs still abhi bhi ma'am, they have their bases in Nepal. Nepal, obviously, ma'am, ISI is there, and ISI, they are in touch with ISI through Nepal. KCP, if you see, this group, their leader is there only in Nepal. So wherever they have got safe havens, like I spoke about Bangladesh earlier, then Myanmar, then
Which group
Nepal.
did you say has its chief in Nepal?
KCP, ma'am.
Who is
So
it?
KCP still have a lot of cadres in Nepal, and like I said, all the neighboring countries where जहाँ भी इनको exploit करने को मिल जाता है, the foreign agencies, China, and so they have been sheltering them, they have been providing them shelter, and through them they are trying to create the disturbance in, like, obviously Manipur and Northeast and whatnot. So you'll later this individual, ma'am, he was in court. He was like, those documents were given to military intelligence also, and they also validated it. Yes, it is a sensitive information. It should not have been with him. How did he access to it? It is surprise. It was surprising for everyone, and he was carrying it to Nepal, obviously, to hand it over to the ISI guys. And that, surprisingly, ma'am, you won't believe the. You might be aware of one of the ambushes where our 14 Jawans got killed in Chandel district, and the main culprit was Uttam. He was a cadre of KYKL, ma'am. So, what happened, ma'am? In NIA's case, also, he is the main conspirator of that ambush. So, one of the GR Pultons, this is a case of last year. So, they arrested 14 of the KYKL cadres from one of the villages, which is very close to Moirangpuril. So, they arrested them with weapons, and they were infiltrating from Myanmar. So, GR could get control of them. They arrested all of them, and they were in their custody, and they were taking them to police station.
GR is?
Gorkha Rifles, ma'am. There's a infantry battalion there. So they were there, they arrested them, and they were taking them to the police station. Suddenly, a mob of 1,000 came along with the ladies and everyone, and this guy was also present there. This guy, ma'am, so Uttam, he was arrested by Gurkha Rifles there in a place called Moirangpuril, along with the weapons, 14 weapons, and they all have infiltrated from the Myanmar with the help of Nagas, NSNIM. There is NSNIM active in that area, so they got them inside Moirangpuril in the Imphal during this conflict. So we have arrested. They were totally under our control, and then there is a mob of around 1,000 ladies and women, ladies and men who came there, and they surrounded that location. They have put a lot of pressure on these Gorkha Rifles to arrest to release those 14 militants who were in the NIA list. Like Uttam, he's the top conspirator of that ambush, and he's in the NIA's most wanted list till now. So what happened, ma'am? This mob came, and again, this minister also, he was the part of that constituency only, जो जिसकी we are discussing, the MLA TSK Singh. It was his constituency where around the people of his constituency who came there, and they also, everybody, he was also being pressurized. And like, ma'am, I said he accepted in court. He accepted in court. He got a contract of Imphal House in Calcutta on the saying of these carters, VBIGs. And when VBIGs have, he got, like he said, they have helped me in elections. Like there is a case mine, mein, you can hear his everything. So he has admitted everything in the court also. And surprisingly, he is a sitting MLA. Matlab, when we talk about Sharjeel Imam and all, when they even gave a speech, कि हम chicken neck काट देंगे, they are still in the jail. But people like such people like who were taking the secret documents and about our installations and army installations and whatnot, they were flying to, and they have been elected as a. So that's what, ma'am, as I was mentioning, for a very small gain, we neglect these things, like some of these activities, and which are harming in a long distance. So we have to, ma'am, perforce, because of that, so much of pressure of those mob and everybody, we have to leave those 14 KYKL cadres. We have to leave, as in release them, because there was so much pressure on so much pressure on the authorities, police authorities and army. And surprisingly, that was for me also, that was very disappointing moment, ma'am, where we know this is the individual who has killed our soldiers and we still have to leave him. So it was a very unfortunate moment, I would say. But what we have heard, ma'am, what I have heard through my sources there, I think he's no more. He's missing now. That guy, he's obviously not nowhere to be seen, nowhere to be heard now. So whatever happens, happens for a good cause. But this is the sad state, ma'am. Uttam, the guy who that day army has to release because of some pressure, and now he's no more. No more in this sense. Family has said he has died somewhere and things like that. So these are the things which is obviously, ma'am, which will haunt them. But how the people are supporting some individual or some group of individuals who have killed the Indian Army soldiers in past, and he's the main conspirator. So it is not that ki we can't do, army is helpless, or army can do whatever they want to, but they respect the people, they respect the people's mandate and whatever it is there. So it is just that we don't want to escalate. We just want to control and contain the situation, and army is doing their best to do whatever best they can in that situation. Yeah.
That's a very nice note to end this interview on, because
Yes.
I went through a whole gamut of emotions, Major Digvijay. I'm being honest, when I started, I did not think we will touch these sensitive topics. But thanks to you, you have so beautifully explained everything with proof, you know, and the intention with which you put this out, I just hope it reaches the right people and we really see some change in Manipur and
Yes, ma'am.
eastern part of India.
We all want, ma'am. Like I said, it is for me also, it is inseparable part. Like till the time I am alive, for me, it will be a personal issue, whatever has happened. And we also want people to have like good lives. And I would, through your medium or through everybody, want, like, people should understand that you have to take onus of your actions. It is not somebody else who's coming to your village to fight and to instigating you to fight. They are not. It is the villages, as I said, those who are suffering of those particular villages. It is a normal individual, as I said, जो 1 रुपए की चीज इम्फाल में आके 80 रुपीज की जा रही है, तो it is that 79 rupees का burden which is being faced by the civilians. It is not by anybody else. So these are the things we should understand and we should try to eliminate. Everybody want to, but then you have to be, आज नहीं तो कल, we have to take action. Some action is needed. Like it'll be a tough one. It'll be a tough decision for everyone, but it has to be taken, ma'am. It has to be taken with a pinch of salt. We have to do something which realigns the government of India's will, which we wanted to develop Northeast. Government of India wanted Northeast to develop in a particular way, like it to be a basically the which eastern corridor which we are making through Tamu and all. So it should go ahead. We should go ahead because economy is the biggest thing we can give back to the people of Manipur and Imphal, I think, at the present situation. So we should work for it. Everybody should work for it.
May God's blessing be on the beautiful people of Northeast and
Yes,
and
ma'am.
and in J&K you worked. I mean, you know, you've been part of both the places. Thank you
Yes.
so much, Major Digvijay, for your time
Thank
and
you, ma'am.
for explaining things so beautifully to
Thank you.
everyone.